Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Sacred Women's Work podcast. My name's Abby Payne, your co host, and we're excited to have conversations around what it means to be a modern woman, reconnecting with our sacred work as feminine beings, rebalancing the masculine feminine energies.
I love it. I'm Chelsea Henderson, your other co-host, and thank you so much for joining us for our messy, informal conversations where we just explore all that is so important to us and what we think is important for the world. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Modern Sacred Women's Work podcast. We're excited to have you.
Thanks for being here. Who do we have today, Miss Abby? Tell us all about it.
Yes. Today we have an amazing guest, Katie Smith. Katie was the amazing goddess woman who introduced Chelsea and I, really. We were in a book club together. That's how Chelsea and I met. And the way that Katie facilitated that space was unlike anything I'd ever experienced, and not like a normal book club. She really, she facilitated the experience of what it means to really be an embodied woman. And she asked amazing questions and brought in props and books and cards and things to enrich the experience. And we've all been friends ever since, and I'm just really excited to have you today, Katie.
Me too.
To give our little more info on Katie, Katie is a transformational guide mentor that serves individuals and organizations navigating growth or change. She is a mirror for leaders and professionals to release what no longer serves them, reconnect with their inner guidance, which brings clarity, alignment, and ease into how they lead, work, and experience life. She does this through one-on-one mentoring, peer group circles, corporate programs, and her work creates a space for insight, presence, and sustainable growth. Welcome, Katie.
Welcome, Katie.
I was gonna
and
say,
we'll link to Katie,
the book
too.
club y'all were in wasn't a normal book.
It's
No,
true.
you're so right. We've talked a lot about that. First of all, when your book is called Pussy, it just sets you apart. You're just on a different level right there. So,
Two brave participants.
Yeah, we were. I remember my husband during that book club being like, what is this? I'm like, you don't get it, Zach. You don't have a pussy.
My husband loved it. He was like, oh, it's Pussy Club tonight. I was like, that's Pussy Book Club to you? He was like, no, it's Pussy Club. I was like, you're right. It's Pussy Club. Yeah. It's always fun when your 5-year-old is saying that. Or 4. He was 4 at the time. Are you going to Pussy Club tonight, Mom? Yes, I am, darling. Yes, I am.
Yep.
All right, Katie. So we have kind of created a little format for our guests just to kind of like get things rolling. So we wanted to start out with what we kind of start out with everybody that we bring on here. And we've interviewed each other as a start to our podcast. So we've asked each other these questions. But can you talk to us a little bit about, we want to know kind of your background, but we also want to know any of like your astrology, Enneagram, human design, anything like that you feel like is kind of most relevant to you, especially right now in your life. So we'll start with that, and then we can kind of move back into your backstory a little bit and go from there, if that's cool with you.
That's fine. Yeah, I've been in astrology since I was really young, not knowing it scientifically. Not this house and your planet in this house, no. But I'm a Pisces sun. I'm a Capricorn rising and a Scorpio moon.
Wow.
Wow.
So let me just explain what that means to me in my life.
Yes, please.
Pisces is the most spiritual sign in the zodiac.
Wow.
So we connect in really easy. Capricorn is about how I manifest on the physical plane. I can create matter. Okay? So
Okay.
Structure. Right? It's structure, Capricorn. And Scorpio is transformational. Deep transformational work. So how I've translated that into my life is, well, I can tie this into my journey because I started my career as a personal shopper, dressing women for a living.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Fashion merchandising. So for 10 years, I dressed women and men how to create balance, how to accentuate their beauty, whatever they wanted, right? And then my daughter lost her hearing. So that was my Saturn return, first Saturn return. I was 30. And that just shook things up. So I was living in Texas, because I'm originally from Texas. I was living in Texas at the time. And when Taylor lost her hearing, we decided that we were going to teach her to talk. That we weren't going to just do sign language. It wouldn't work. I'm from a family of 9. They would never have learned sign language.
Yeah.
That was just,
Yeah.
It's in a hearing world. And so, and she had already had pathways to the brain made because she had like 25 words already. She was already starting to talk. So she had the pathways already laid. So what we ended up doing was moving to California because there was an oral school there that was teaching deaf kids to talk. And it was fabulous. And I couldn't wait to get out of Texas. And my husband was from California. So we moved there, and we enrolled Taylor in Gene Weingarten Peninsula School for the Deaf. And they were teaching all these amazing, profoundly deaf children how to speak.
Wow.
And it was just, they were my family for the next period of years. And so at that point in time, I quit my job because I had to go to school with her to learn how to teach her to talk.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So I did that, and we ended up mainstreaming her into 3rd grade, into public school.
Nice.
However, prior to that, she received a cochlear implant. So, do y'all know what a cochlear implant is?
Yeah. Yeah.
She was at that time they had to be FDA approved. The kid had to have the infrastructure to work with the implant so that the parents were teaching them how to use it and talk. But she was on the cover of the Oakland Tribune.
What?
Wow.
As
No way.
That's amazing.
spokesperson for cochlear because she excelled so well with
Wow.
And so she did all that. That was great. In the midst of all that, I ended up having another child, Shelby, my son. They're 5 years apart. We waited because of her deafness.
Sure.
And after Shelby was born, he was 2. I ended up divorcing. And so at that point, I was teaching a lot of yoga. Because when Taylor lost her hearing, I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Saturn return. You know how Saturn returns are.
So bumpy.
So at the time, I had been doing yoga 10 years, hatha yoga at a Unity church.
Really? Amazing.
And Taylor was in the hospital for 3 weeks in intensive care because it was meningitis. That's how she lost her hearing.
Really? Damn.
So I was just like a basket case, and I was like, I just have to get to a yoga class. And on the schedule of the Unity Church, there was no hatha yoga. There was only Kundalini. I didn't even know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to show up.
Let's do
And
it.
I showed up, and I fell in love with the mantras and the chanting and the mudras and the meditations. And I was
Wow.
just like, oh my God, I have to do this every day.
Wow.
That's what turned me on to Kundalini.
Wow.
So my life took a total turn at that point doing Kundalini, because Kundalini really clears out the chakras, it gets you aligned. Of all the yogas, it raises your awareness the fastest. So I ended up diving into Kundalini. We moved to Half Moon Bay, got Taylor situated, and then I started teaching Kundalini yoga. There was no teacher training happening.
Really?
And my mentor out of New York said, Katie, you know the practice, just start teaching out of your living room. So I did.
Awesome.
And there was no Kundalini in San Francisco. Even the ashram was not teaching. So it was really
That's crazy.
weird.
That's
crazy.
wild.
This was like 1990.
Wow.
So it was early.
It feels like in California there would have been, right? It was so kind of alternative.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so we moved to California. We did that. I started teaching. They started coming out with a teacher training program. I signed up for that. Um, and then I really just started teaching a lot. I was teaching a lot of classes. And then I realized in the state of California, it had the highest suicide rate among attorneys. And so
Wow.
they had to practice a lot of stress management courses as CCEUs to continue practicing law. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get my course approved by the state law board and be able to take it into law firms, so I can make money.
Brilliant.
Because you know,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
so this is my Capricorn.
Building the structure.
Okay?
Yeah.
But Kundalini is my Scorpio because it's so deep.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Okay. And the sun is that ethereal, spiritual. The yoga fell into that.
Wow.
So I got my course approved by the state law board, and I would drive into these law firms in San Jose to San Francisco. I would bring my sheepskin in. I would lay it on the conference table. You know how law firms, they have those stupid
Huge black.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's like for 100 people.
and I would sit on the table, and all the partners would sit around me in chairs
You would sit on the table, like on the sheepskin.
because there was no room. You had to sit on the table.
That's
Amazing.
fucking awesome.
I just let them sit in their chairs, and then I would teach them how to breathe, how to chant, do this to de-stress, show them the best Kundalini postures for de-stressing the nervous system. And then
That's
the partner would write me
amazing.
a big fat check, and I would leave.
Awesome.
Perfect.
You're like, this is great.
So I did that for a period of time. I loved it. It was so aligned with my calling. And then I had to leave my husband because I was me who initiated the divorce. To this day, Glenn says, yoga ruined my marriage. It's like, yeah, I fucking woke up.
Because you woke up and it just didn't fit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, he had a drinking problem, let's say that. And didn't want to take ownership of it. So, so at that point, I left, and this was all during my Saturn return. I left with no money, no car, and no place to live, and 2 kids to feed. I had a very strong yoga community on the coast. And so I packed my things in a U-Haul. I put them in storage. I went to live at my sister's. I went to stay at my sister's the first night, who lived in San Francisco.
Nice.
She just had an apartment. And so then I was on a chiropractic table. I do network spinal analysis where 7 people are in the room. I don't know if y'all know Donnie Epstein.
Ah.
It's an energetic
Uh-uh.
work. Anyway, I've done that. There was a woman who approached me on the coast I was introduced to, and she was like, I want to take Kundalini. Would you do trade? I'm a network chiropractor. I was like, well, what's that? She told me, and I said, well, you know, I'll try it. I was pregnant with Shelby. And I went, and I was just like, oh my God. And we've been doing it ever since. My kids,
Wow.
my kids grew up on it. We never went to the doctor. We just went to the chiropractor.
That's
So,
amazing.
Anyway, so I left Glenn, and I was on the chiropractic table, and I was just bawling. And one of my yoga students was next to me. She was a real estate broker on the coast, and she was like, Katie, are you okay? And I was like, I have to leave Glenn, and I have no money and nowhere to go, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like 30, I don't know, something. And she puts a check under my chiropractic table for $1,400. And she said, this is payment for yoga for the next year. Come to my house with your kids, and you can stay with me.
Holy shit.
Whoa. Oh my
Holy
gosh.
shit.
And so that's what I
beautiful.
did. I picked everything up. I went to Margie's. We stayed at Margie's. And then another mom who had a deaf kid who was close friends with Taylor, she was getting a divorce. And we ended up renting a home and merging our families.
Oh my God,
Amazing.
it's like the Golden Girls. That's
That was-
incredible.
Yeah, that was the transition.
That's the dream. Some dream.
But it was,
Yeah.
it was my yoga community that supported me.
Wow.
Because I didn't have a car. And I remember
What?
we were doing a house clearing at my house that I moved into with Marcia. The kids, I had a shaman come and sweep all the energy out and do all this stuff. And I remember there was one of my yoga students, and he had a crush on me, but I didn't like him. And I told him, I said, yeah, I need a car. I got to find a cheap car because I don't have much money. And he said, well, how much do you have? I said, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500. And he says, Katie, I have a car I never drive. It's a Subaru. I have a company car. I'll just give you my car for $1,200.
Wow.
So, I mean, things just lined up once you
Wow.
lined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I left on pure faith and trust.
Wow.
Sort of community that this is what I have to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I did all that. And Taylor had an implant. She was mainstreamed. I had Shelby. But I had to create more income. The yoga was not enough to support my children. And I needed health insurance for Taylor and her implant. Because she had to get regular checkups with that machine in her head. So I thought, I gotta look for a job. But I don't want to commute to the city because Shelby's in half daycare. I'm on the coast. So I started looking through the Half Moon Bay Review, and there was a job for a headhunter.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. So I went, and it was a woman who had left a big firm in San Jose. She lived on the coast. She was starting a one-woman show. She was hiring one recruiter. She said, I'll teach you the business, and I'd like to hire you. And I said, well, okay, I need health insurance for my daughter. I need to only work part-time because I have to pick my son up at 2. And I need to work around my yoga teaching schedule. And she said, okay.
Dude. Amazing.
Holy cow.
And it was
Alignment.
It was alignment. It was in Half Moon Bay, which was great. So
Wow.
I started working for Allison. And that was a whole transformational experience because she wasn't real conscious, and she definitely woke up with me in her office. And
Awesome.
we became great friends. And so I worked with her for a while, and then I really wanted to make more money because it wasn't enough. And I didn't like the kind of recruiting I was doing. And so someone in my yoga class, a student in my yoga class, was like, Katie, there's a tech firm moving from Berkeley to the Half Moon Bay, and the managing director lives in Half Moon Bay, and they're looking for tech, executive recruiters. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go talk to her. I went and talked to her, and we're talking, this is in the 90s, and we were working with all the big startups. So it was when the big first bubble was bursting in San Francisco. All the
Wow.
was, and I said, I can only work part-time, all that, and I need this much money. And so she did. She gave me the money I wanted, and I worked part-time, and I was the top producing recruiter in that office.
Wow.
Amazing.
Anybody else was working full-time.
What? That's amazing. You're like,
Awesome.
I'll do what they can do, but part-time, and better.
Suck it.
So it was great. I got what I needed for my family. And then my dad was starting to pass. And my sister in San Antonio, in Austin, was like, oh, you should come home. She had 3 kids. It would be so great. You could help me with Dad. And I thought, and I was just kind of tired of the coast. My kids were struggling in the schools. In order to go to private school, I'd have to go over the hill to Palo Alto. I didn't want to commute 45 minutes. And so I thought, I'm going to fucking move. And I had full custody. So I moved to Texas, and we got there, and it was like, oh my God, what did we do? We moved away from the ocean, the mountains,
Oh, such a change.
the beach, and it was a different lifestyle than everybody in California.
Different culture too, I bet, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so we did that. I knew I wouldn't stay there. It was a period of time, and I'm so glad I went. My kids got to know their cousins. I got
Nice.
with my dad, which was
Awesome.
really great. And then it was time to move. And all during that time, I was recruiting because I ended up going with another. Well, what happened was the California company I was working for said, oh, we'll move you to Austin. You can open an office for us. but they would
Nice.
bump first. And so
Ah,
I moved there, and then I got laid off.
No.
Worked for another firm, another boutique firm, which I loved, while I taught yoga. Was doing both. So then it was time to leave. So I was studying with Stephen Eisenstadt at Pacifica University in Santa Barbara. He is the one who came up with the dream tending concept.
Oh, I've heard you talk about this. Yes, yes, yes.
I went out to Santa Barbara once a month for 6 months to learn this methodology with him. And it was a group of 30 of us. And I had a dream. And in the dream, Colorado was in the dream. And I knew I wanted to move, but I didn't know where. I knew I wasn't going to move back to the Bay. I wanted to be near nature with activity, outdoor activity, and just an awake community.
Definitely.
So we worked this dream, and I really didn't know how it would come into being. So it just percolated. And then I brought Shelby and Taylor up to Evergreen to ski. My sister lives in Evergreen. I brought them up here to ski, and Shelby was on the deck. He was 10. And he turned around and he looked at me and he said, "Mom, I can live here." And I looked at
Oh,
him.
nice.
I can make that happen.
ah,
Amazing. We've got buy-in. We've got buy-in from the kids.
It's time.
Yeah.
I can make that happen. I love it.
Taylor's graduating from high school. She was going to go off to San Diego State. So I just had to worry about Shelby. And he was entering middle school. So I thought, perfect time to do it before he enters high school.
Yeah.
So I applied to 3 jobs. I had 3 interviews. I told Shelby, we're coming up for a weekend. I'm going to interview with these people. I'm going to accept a job and we're going to find a house. And I'm just going to rent a house because, I don't know, I want to check out the area. So what the really interesting part is, my sister came to Austin with a map, Colorado map, and she was like, we can look at where you think you ought to live, because I'll probably be working downtown. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And I looked at the map and I said, well, what's Golden like? And she, oh, it's kind of pricey, but that would be good for me because she lived in Evergreen, and if I had to travel, she could stay with Shelby.
Nice.
Need somebody to stay with him still. So I was like, well, let's check out Golden. I get home that afternoon, and Shelby said, "Mom, I've been looking at the map in Colorado, and I think we should live in Golden."
What?
I'm like, okay, that's where we're supposed to live.
You got a little spirit guide there living in your house. You're like, yep, we're all aligned.
Totally.
So it was really funny. We had a list we created of the house we wanted to live in, and we would meditate together. Because when my kids were growing up, I gave them a choice. I said, you have to have spirituality. So it's either going to the Unity Church, we checked out different churches, or it's doing yoga and meditation every week here at the house. And they both picked yoga and meditation. So that's what we grew up.
Nice.
So they were in the habit of doing that with me every week. And I told Shelby, I said, we're going to create this house together.
Wow.
So we wrote this list, and I remember one day he coming into my room. My office was in my bedroom, and he laid on the couch, laid on the bed, and he was just staring up. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "I said, are you scared about moving?" And he said, "Yeah. What if I don't make any friends?" He had made so many friends in Texas, and because Texas is kind of like a group sport community. Everybody does sports.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, yeah, that's scary, and, it's going to be okay. I'm scared too. So, just talking him through that transition. So we get here, and my sister takes us to all these rentals in Golden. And the house we live in is the very first house we looked at.
Whoa.
Too expensive. They wanted way too much for rent. And so we looked at all these houses and looked in Lakewood and Reedridge. I was like, why would I want to live there?
Yeah, no. Definitely not the vibe.
So I couldn't, all the houses, they were dark, and the price range I was looking at, they were older, except for this house. So I thought, I'm going to call the landlord and get him to go lower. So I called the landlord. I got him lower.
Nice.
Rented it. And he had been renting it to School of Mines kids.
Ah,
And he hated that because they were
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
totally.
So he wanted a family in there. So that was my leverage.
Yeah.
So we rented it. A year later, he wanted to jack the rent up $800. I
What?
was like, fuck. I said, I should go buy a house. And he said, make me an offer.
Oh, hey.
What? He's like, I'm done with this house. Take it.
And so I made him an offer and I bought it.
What?
Amazing.
The house on your list.
The house on our list. It had everything
Wow.
but a cat. And we put a cat door in.
That was an easy fix.
That was an easy fix.
Hi everyone, Abby here. Just want to take a moment to thank you for listening to the Modern Sacred Women's Work podcast. I hope you are enjoying the discussion, the episode today, and I wanted to let you know other ways that you can engage with the larger Modern Sacred community. So Modern Sacred is a word-of-mouth spread business and community. We are not on social media. We don't have an Instagram or anything like that. We do have a Substack, so if you want to head over to modernsacred.com, you will see a link to join our newsletter through Substack, where you'll get updates on upcoming events, book clubs, things that Chelsea and I are doing. Another way to engage is we have a monthly free women's circle called Witnessed. This is a space not to get advice or fixing or coaching. Witnessed is a space for women to come together and have that shared energy with each other wherever you're at in your journey. This is a place to see and be seen, to be in the energy of other women, and to also offer your energy in return. That circle is every second Thursday of the month from 11:30 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. We also have quarterly book clubs, which are 6-week group facilitated spaces where we work through some kind of women or defined feminine empowerment book. Our spring 2026 book is Maiden to Mother, which explores the shift into a more mature version of femininity as we embody the mother spirit. So that is upcoming in April. We would love to have you in that space. And we also have a Modern Sacred membership. This is a $30 a month membership that gives you access to an expansive resource library of meditations, courses, PDF downloads. We are adding to it all the time. You'll also get 20% off of any book clubs, special or seasonal events, and upcoming retreats as a member. You can find all the information for our Witnessed Circle, book clubs, upcoming events, and the newsletter on our website, modernsacred.com. Modern Sacred is a multi-generational space, and like I said in the beginning, we are a word-of-mouth spread community. We believe that our attention is best used on each other and not in social media, so we depend on our members and people who listen to this podcast to spread the word on what it is that we're doing. So please subscribe to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, wherever you listen. That really helps us to reach other women. And share this podcast or our offerings with someone else in your life who you think would benefit from being a part of this community and having more regular connection to other women. We would love to have your community be part of our community, and we thank you so much for helping us to spread this work among the world. All right, get back to the episode, and I hope to see you face to face soon.
Katie,
Wow.
I'm so struck by, like, you've said a couple times how, like, you got what you needed, you got what you wanted, but I also noticed that at every juncture you asked for what you needed and wanted, and I find that, like, incredibly inspiring. I don't know if that is, for me, that's not as common in my story to be as clear and direct, and I find that's so you, as far as I've known you so far, and how fucking cool it is that if you just say, this is what I need, turns out so much of the time you get that. And that just seems like a constant through your story. Was that intentional, or is that just like who you are?
I think it's part of the support groups I was in, the dream tending.
Oh. Yeah.
Right? It was my own depth work I was doing
Yeah.
to learn these tools, but also, Carolyn Mace, you know, the famous consciousness leader, Carolyn Mace. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know her or not. She's older, but she has been communicating with the angels since she was little. I mean, she's just,
Wow.
she's incredible with her work. And she said, everyone has so much support around them, but they're not going to support you if you don't ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to be clear about what you want, put it out there, and trust it's going to show up. It may
And the
not show up in
trust.
it may not show up in the timing you want, but it's going to show up.
I
Well,
love
and
that.
the trust element of like making the leap, leaving your husband, having no money, like that. I just trusting that you had to follow your intuition and what you knew was right, and that you were going to be caught on the other side somehow. I think the
Well, yeah,
universe
that's
really
huge.
responds to that.
The whole thing about the divorce was really learning how to develop my masculine, my Capricorn.
Ooh, I want to hear about this because you've talked
Me
about this
too. Me
before. That one of the main things in your life is learning how to really balance your masculine and feminine. And you were the first person who'd really introduced me to that whole concept of those energies throughout the Pussy Book Club. Would you be able to just tell our listeners like about these masculine, feminine energies and how you've balanced them in your life or what that's looked like?
Well, and also too, I think to note that and Abby and I were reflecting on this when we were kind of talking about like bringing you into this space. Like you are such an amazing example of having both so strong. Like you present so strongly in them, and then marry them and balance them in this way that's inspiring. So sorry, I just want to add that because I find that really cool too.
Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate that from both of you,
Yeah.
because that's been my life work.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that's why I'm here in my own depth work. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yes.
Like I can sit there and be a victim of my husband's alcoholism, or I can choose to choose me.
I love that.
Not knowing how the fuck I'm going to support these two kids.
Yeah. Whoa.
So, you know, and that's where the Kundalini came in because it gave me the courage.
Oh.
It helped rewire my brain enough and activate my solar plexus and my heart to listen to what I need, honor what I need for this life, and to take the action to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
And so the pieces were what I fell into. The Kundalini was it was meant to be that there was no Hatha on the schedule. There was Kundalini on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like, to marry Glenn, I'm so grateful. I have two amazing children, and he's an amazing man. And
Yeah.
he's got his own journey. And our relationship, it was time to come to an end.
Yeah.
Because I needed to develop the masculine in me, which was how to build infrastructure to support my family. How to live in a human form. We have to have money. We have to have resources in this system.
Yep.
And
Yes.
how to overcome my victimhood.
Mm.
And
Yes.
choose my soul.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know? I mean, I think that's what the heroine is, the feminine. The warrior woman.
Yes. Yeah.
The sage warrior, you know?
Do you find in your life today, after all of this practice and all of this kind of journey that you've had so far, do you find it's still a concentrated effort to bring those two together, or are you kind of more in a groove with that, of that masculine feminine in your day-to-day kind of over the time? Is it more easy?
It's pretty integrated.
Okay.
Nice.
Stage of my life. I mean, I'm in my 60s. Better fucking be integrated.
Yeah, you're like, I've done enough work at this point.
On.
Come on.
Where the depth work is now is, you know, our evolvement is a spiral.
Mm-hmm.
So the issues don't go away.
Right. Yes.
Mm.
And so, you know, now it's looking at, okay, I'm at a stage in my life now where I'm letting go of the last 30 years, raising kids, building that infrastructure, merging, making that integration. And now I'm going into this sage part of my life. And it's like my identity is shifting. And so
Okay.
now it's not about being the teacher, it's about being the mirror.
Oh. Okay, wait. Can we take a moment, cuz this is something that Abby and I've been talking about a lot the last couple of weeks, and since we're in this area, I feel like it's just a perfect moment. We have been talking a lot about aging in a society and culture that almost is trying to annihilate the existence of that, is trying to pretend that that's not something. It doesn't, and there's lots of perspectives on it, right? I mean, it doesn't feed capitalism in the same way. It doesn't feed patriarchy in the same, whatever. But we're at different, I'm 10 years older than Abby. And so I'm entering my 40s now. And you and I have talked about this, Katie. I had 10 years of doing Botox and filler. And, when I started to really come back home to myself, I was like, fuck this. This is stupid. It's not who I am. It's artificial. It costs a shitload of money. It's painful. It's demeaning. And also it's disingenuous. Like, the love that I have for myself that I feel growing every day that spills over and loves all my people is antithesis of that, right? It is not of that. So, but also, as soon as I stop doing it, I get very different attention and sometimes no attention. And it's a weird thing. And Abby and I have been talking about it, her in her 30s, this expectation of us as women to prevent superficially and not much beyond that. And the way that we are valued and accepted into spaces. Can we talk about that? Because I feel like your energy is perfect for that. This kind of just the balance, the masculine and feminine. And it feels so kind of the moment of just like Abby and I are talking about 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be these beautiful sage women and we're going to look around us and it's going to be a room full of robots or like mannequins.
Plastic.
Or, like, freaky. It's freaky. And I don't know how to make peace with it. I don't know if I'm supposed to, just in my own self, but I want to hear your perspective on that and what that means to you, if you don't mind.
We live in a system, capitalist system. You're not going to escape them. That's what the reflection is. But you want to use the reflection to for your own depth work, right? It's like, okay, if I'm judgy about that person getting Botox, instead of projecting the judgment, what do I need?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So if I go to judgment, and this is what I'm still learning this, right? Because I judge. I mean, we live in a judgy collective,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. It's our favorite pastime. Yeah.
So, and that's just it. It's the constant inner work of being so present and conscious with yourself that when you're in a interaction and you notice you're judging, oh wow, stop myself. What is it that I need?
Mm-hmm. Right. Why is this triggering me?
Yeah, it can be something as simple as I was walking on the creek with someone the other day and it was in the dark and it was so beautiful. It was a full moon. And they just kept talking and talking and talking. And all I wanted them to do was shut up. I just wanted to be in the silence and be present with the night.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what, I really want to be present and hear what you're having to say, but can we just walk this stretch in silence and take in the night first? I didn't do that. Instead, I went home and I was like, she talks too much. And da-da-da-da. I was judgy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get distracted by all of that that's outside of us.
Yes.
And the
I
thing
love that.
is doing Botox, you don't know if that is healing for them.
Great point.
We don't know their path, their karma, what they're here
Yeah.
to do. It's about
Might be the
keeping
first-
attention on what do I need to learn. from
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Where is my projection? If you're projecting, it's your shit.
Totally. Totally. I
Yeah,
will
that's
say
interesting.
too that I was reflecting on how there are a lot of women like you in my life which is an incredible bounty. And you all have, there's more vitality. Like, I feel like for me, I feel like I have more vitality now not doing that, because there was something almost burdensome about this attempt to try to be something I wasn't. It's like performing in codependence. It's like, you know, performing in a marriage that no longer suits you, right? It felt like the same energy. So I feel this like youthfulness that people are trying so hard to hold on to, like carrying water in their hands. It's almost like opposite. Like there's the youthful vitality of curiosity and of desire for more depth and connection to self and others is actually more vibrant in that space to me. But I love what you're saying, how everybody's on their own journey, right? But like, that's my feeling. That might not be someone else's. And if the judgment sinks in, or even for me, it's there are moments of like I had a moment of shame the other day out in public when this young boy was like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and did this whole thing like I was fucking 105 years old. And I was like, ah, like, what do you want? Stupid boy. And then it was like, no, because, and it was interesting because we started to talk, and he's from the South, and in the South, ma'am is respect. Like that was, he was respecting me, but my snap judgment, to your point. And then I had to have that moment of like, who fucking like, what, why? Like, why am I doing that? I missed a moment where someone was offering me respect because a word triggered me. And it has just been this kind of shifting of like growing into a new phase of myself and really sitting into that with pride and excitement versus whatever else might try to sneak in there. So I like the judgment part of like letting that be a reflection of like, what is this triggering for me? What do I need? Such a great question to ask.
And it's a journey coming back to yourself. I mean, that's, and let me just tell you, that's just the aging process.
Okay. Yeah. It feels
you know,
like it.
I have a good friend that her and I have done consciousness work since we were in our 20s. And it's developmental.
Yeah.
Development. You know, I mean, it's part of growing older. And, you know, embracing the wisdom, even though the system is giving a different message. And, you know, I was watching part of the Golden Globes, and I was thinking, oh my God, these women look amazing. And then Mel Robbins, they had a clip on her, and she was all dolled up with all this makeup and lipstick, so different than her podcast. And I thought she looked old. She looked old.
Totally.
All her wrinkles, you could see everything accentuated, and I thought, oh man, I hope she doesn't fall into it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be hard to continue to hold the anchor inside yourself.
Yes. I think that's exactly what it is. And as like, I mean, being in my 30s, I'm 32, even already there's so much pressure to like start getting Botox, start getting filler. People my age, and I'm just, they say it's preventative to help prevent the wrinkles, whatever. But as someone who really strongly identified with being pretty and being desirable, and that I got so much of my self-worth and identity for being a young, beautiful woman. And as that begins to fade, even just moments when you wake up and there's no moisturizer and you've had no water, I'm like, wow, I look older. Should I go get work done? Like, this is bad because I'm losing my identity. But like, I'm beginning to see and leaning into the beauty of losing yourself, like the beauty of losing this facade of self and really finding who you are in like that deeper beauty and embracing that aging process. And it's not easy, especially when everyone around me is not thinking that way. Especially Salt Lake City has higher rates of plastic surgery than California. It's really big out here.
Holy crap.
It's
I
huge,
didn't know that.
huge out here. Yep. Everybody out here is very into looks. Possibly because of the Mormon church influence. There's many different ideas, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say something and I lost the thought, but
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's this is what it was. Letting go of ego. It's about letting go
Yeah.
of ego.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the reality is, as we age, we want to not know.
Mm.
You know how I said it's not about me teaching anymore. It's about me being a mirror now.
Mm.
What that means is when I work with clients or people, it's like sharing what I'm observing in their habits or their behavior. Sharing a
Yes.
concept that may be new to them, that I'm noticing, that's getting activated in me. Right?
Yeah.
They may agree with it, they may not. But I don't have any attachment to it. It's just, I'm
Yeah.
sharing.
Just an observation.
It's not about changing them or fixing them. It's about them. It's about them getting to see the real reflection of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're going to get aligned.
Mm.
Then they're going
Yeah.
to live in flow and ease and realize life is working for me, not against me.
Yes.
I don't have to fix anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not about fixing. It's about being.
Yeah,
Being,
totally.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The more of us that are being, it will create a ripple effect. It already is.
Mm-hmm.
It already is. And there are pockets, Abby, like you're in a pocket where you have a different reality. And it's like, well, interesting. I wonder why you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the reflection for Abby?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been really interesting to be here for not even that reason, but Utah's not our place. We'll be here for a year and then we're moving on doing travel nursing and stuff. But why we're here for a year, I think, has been really to go within myself, because the culture here, I'm not even really drawn to make friends here, honestly, because I have friends, I have Chelsea, I have other people I talk to almost every day. And with the Mormon influence, they're a very tight-knit group. So it's pretty hard to break in. And I just don't even want to. I just feel like this year is a year for me. It's a year for me and my husband. It's just a year to be in quiet, in solitude before whatever comes next, and build the structure with modern sacred and just other things. So just embracing why I'm here. It doesn't feel like where I'm going to be long term, but it's where I'm supposed to be for sure. 100%. Yeah.
It's like, garner the jewels while you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are jewels of wisdom in whatever, no matter how chaotic, dysfunctional, fucked up it is.
Yeah. We even
love
went
too
to,
that,
so,
like-
oh, go ahead.
It's no different than marriage. It was like, I'm going to garner this is all falling apart because something needs to be growing in me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to project that onto him, even though
Yeah.
I did many years. Took a while to take that projection back, but it's back. So
I love that you answered that question. I love this about you just in general. I've been inspired from the moment I met you with this energy of just bring it back here. Just bring it back here. This is where the work is happening. And I think that's
Yeah.
an incredible thing you said too about you're kind of past the point of teaching, because I love teaching. I love those who teach. I love the time that I've gotten to teach, but it does feel like a point in life, like you talk about the spiral staircase, and as you go around it, you experience things over and over again and as you develop and as you create familiarity with those things, you go through that time when you're like, oh, I can teach about this because I'm experiencing it and I'm passionate about it and I see it in a different way. And then you get to the point that is so beautiful of just being like, now I get to just be it, not do it, and share from that perspective. And that is an incredible sage wisdom that does feel like it's less and less in the society at large. And yet at the same time, there's like a growing momentum for it kind of just crashing back through, because there's
Definitely.
this hunger that we all need for it. The hunger, like I see this in raising a child, like there's a hunger for just appreciating where he's at, like you say, development, right? Respecting and appreciating the phases of development as they are kind of those stair steps around the spiral staircase. So allowing for that to be, right? And I feel like our culture, our species is like hungry for that because we lost it for a while and we're coming back to it.
And that's coming back to nature, coming back to the wisdom.
Yes. Yeah.
Coming back to the wisdom of the plants, the trees,
Yeah.
and the birds, and the sentient beings.
Yeah.
But you said something, we teach to master. That's
That's brilliant. Yeah, totally.
Mic drop. Yep.
It's
Yes.
not to change someone's life.
No,
That's not your job.
it's not them. It's coming back here, right? And I love that. Like there was a moment where, and we've talked about this, I think, on the podcast, and where I stepped into Welcome Goddess, this space that we all met in, and got to have this moment of connection and grounding, and I stepped in there not on purpose. I was there for another event and was like, what the fuck is going on here? Where am I? Like, it was like stepping back into my childhood. It was like back into the circle of women, the stillness, the energy. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. And I went and did my event. And then I came out and I talked to Catherine, and you were there. And it was like the energy there was like, oh, just the being. Like, I don't have to perform here. I can just be here. And it was just this moment of allowance to, in a way, step out of my own victimhood, right? Like, I was in this kind of critical rupture place of my own and was trying hard to not make that my identity. But I didn't have a lot of good mirror for that. And it was that moment of like the mirror energy of just like, welcome.
And see, this is the masculine part, is the structure.
Ah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when Catherine asked me to facilitate the book Pussy, I was like, oh, wow, I've never done that. Well, actually, I did it with my friends after I worked with Mama Gina. But I thought, okay, this will be good because it'll harness it in me deeper.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right? And
Yep.
And I was so excited with each chapter because I knew the content, but it was like, oh, I'm reinvigorating that DNA again.
Yes. Yeah.
And then to be able to share it in a group, it's like, makes it even, vibrate higher.
Mm-hmm.
But it was to master it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because then
Yes.
you can't share the wisdom if you haven't mastered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because mastering is integration, it's embodiment.
Crazy inspired by that.
In my own life.
Mm-hmm.
And how I'm choosing
Yeah.
to live and the choices I'm choosing to make.
Yeah.
And that's how you tell, it's like,
And just knowing how you integrate information too, and just learning about ourselves. Like, I learned through teaching as well. That's how I reach mastery, is I'll teach about it until it becomes so a part of me. But then there comes a point always where it feels like my brain is a sponge and it is saturated, and now it's time to embody it. And that's that transition point where I'm like, I've learned all the things about this topic, and now, but am I embodying it? Am I living it?
Yeah.
And that's the transition point that I feel like I'm in. That's my word for 2026 is embodiment. Take it from up here and start to moving down into my way of being. Like what you were saying,
Yeah.
that more mastery. For some people, it's not teaching, it's writing. For some people, it's, just knowing kind of what's my integration pattern and how do I kind of do this, and just knowing ourselves.
for some people it's being alone.
Oh gosh.
Not
Yes.
being in a context or container. It's creating their own container. Right? So it looks different for everybody. For me, I'm an experiential learner. So I would go off to all these programs, in these different environments, and have a container of people.
Yeah.
But we come back to my human design. I'm a generator.
I want to hear about this. Yes.
Yes.
So, I'm a generator, and my life's work in Gene Keys is all about communicating and being the mirror so that people can see and be vulnerable, have space to be vulnerable in, and and to be compassionate with where they're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to share my wisdom.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I am a projector, and thanks to sweet Paula Hine, who, oh my God, I am fucking obsessed with her. I'm like, can we be best friends? Can I come live with you? Do you want to marry me? Like, whatever.
She's very good at working with your human design and your gene keys and embodying it.
So I'm going to ask her if she'll come on the podcast, because I want to hear about that. I want to hear more about that work. But either way, Katie's friend, Paula, who does all this human design and gene keys work, has been helping me kind of explore that. And it's been incredibly clarifying for me, because the projector knows themselves by knowing others, which is like this crazy light switch flip for me of like being here with you two. This is my integration. I'm like learning you guys, and I'm hearing this, and then it like shifts. It's like an image coming into view, right? It just shifts into clarity of like, that aligns with my experience. That lands it here. And for the longest time, I fought that. Like, I was like, I didn't know how to be with that, right? And so now seeing it that way, and then for me also being an introvert, I need that time alone. So then I go and I integrate, and then I feel like, oh, I know myself better, and I know the world better. And it's that just simple switch of just knowing how you integrate those things, and being, the word authentic is getting thrown around a lot. And so sometimes I stop myself from using it, but it is the best word. Like the authentic me, who I just am in here, essence, that is how I change the world. The more moments that I step into just me, the more I'm inviting others to be just them. And the more we are just ourselves, the facade falls away. And a lot of the conflict that can arise in being human also falls away, because we're just being ourselves. And there's this like beautiful simplicity to it. Like you said, Katie, it's about that getting back aligned with nature. Nature is unapologetically itself. And it's working. It goes through all the hard work of transformation, because that's incredibly hard work. Even a little sweet flower blooming is having to like bust out of its constraints, right? And it dies and then grows back, and all of the process. And it feels like this beautiful simplicity that's coming back to me, that I see now kind of more and more mirrored in the world around me. And maybe that's also because like I'm part of writing the reality, the narrative, right?
That's right.
But it's like this beautiful simplicity of our species that we've tried so hard to over-engineer these things. And the more we come back to that, the more the vibration just kind of hums along and rises. To me, that's what it feels like. It feels like an exciting time.
Aligned with your soul.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been programmed out of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so people don't know how to touch into that.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first clients I had. She was like, "How do you have these deep conversations with your friends?" This was in the 90s, mind you. I mean, I've been coaching for 15 years, so a while ago. But, it was just like that. It was all business or small talk or bullshit talk, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't- it was
Shallow.
depth.
Yes.
And then you look at how now there's all these conversation cards and all these tools now, so people can learn how to have depth conversations.
Yeah.
So
Because
we're
it's so juicy. We are.
We've got to quit thinking we're here to save the world. We've
Right.
got to quit thinking. We've got to quit putting attention out here and bring it in here. We got to
Yes.
save
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
Our presence will be enough.
Well, we're all each, we're one cell of the whole body. So each cell needs to focus on its cellular maintenance and what needs to get cleaned out. Like each cell has its own systems of everything. And yeah, just by focusing on ourselves and healing ourselves, I really do believe we heal the collective.
We do.
Yeah.
Some of the best work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's By the time you're 60, you want to be able to live in that space.
Yeah.
Still doing your own work because you're on the spiral.
Yeah.
Right? So you're still working your issues, but in embedding them and embodying them deeper and deeper, because enlightenment never stops.
Yeah.
Yes. Practice, right?
It's not a destination.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you think about it, you know, death is we're alone in death,
Mm.
and it's about full surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let all control.
Just as in birth, I would imagine. I don't remember being born, but feels like you're kind of in that same place. Just like, I got to come out. I got to do this.
It's time.
Got to transform. It's time.
Well, the whole life arc is so wild because we come in as, you know, these pure spirit essence beings, these little babies, and then we layer on all this programming and societal conditioning and ego structuring, and then you lose it all. People pass away as you get older, your friends, everybody that you know, or you do, we all do. But truly, to get to the end, to be 100 years old, you've lost so much of what you used to identify with. Your youth, your beauty, your strength, your friends, your community, your children have moved on and they have their families. It's this wild arc of acquiring and then losing things and surrendering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a great description, because it is. It's like we build all this stuff up. We build the ego up. We build, we have these experiences, and then as we age, it's letting go of all the ego. Like
everything you've built.
I'm just gonna get so aligned with who I am and live in that.
Yeah.
It's like I told my hairdresser, I said, I think I'm gonna quit highlighting my hair, because I highlight, the top portion, because I've always been a towhead, and it's like, do I have any gray? I have some gray, but I want to find out how much gray I have.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting to see, okay, what will it look like with
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The curiosity. There it is again.
Mm-hmm.
And how will it feel? Will I want them? Will I be okay with it? Is it another level of me embracing my wisdom? What's going to start opening up me as I let go of this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Heck, yes.
And
yes.
Yep.
Well, I want to know. Please tell us.
Yeah. We'll have you back on.
Fashion girl here. So like you were talking, Abby, you've always been attractive, blah, 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 right? It's like, yeah, I mean, I used to walk into a coffee shop and everybody would stare at me.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't want anymore.
And how do you handle that? Asking for a friend. Yeah.
It's getting out of here and moving.
Yeah.
See, that the head to the body, right? That feels like Paula.
Yourself. Loving the guy standing next to you at the coffee shop.
Right.
Loving the barista.
Because they
loving
are
the
you,
beautiful
right?
20-year-old that walks in the door and everybody looks at her, and not having jealousy and envy, because that's where that women to women combat can even start happening. Is there's the young girl, she's getting all the attention. You're like, yeah, wasn't that fun? Let her have it. Let her have it.
That.
I have my own. I have my thing now, and she'll. We all lose it. We all have it, and we all lose it, and it's part of the process.
If you don't, what's the alternative, right? I love anti-aging, except for, I say this a lot, my mother died at 45. I will turn 42 in about 3 weeks. That's fucking insane. Like, to think about that I would have 3 years left with my son. Anti-aging, it's laughable. I'm like, fucking A, what? No. Pro-aging, very pro-aging, because pro-aging means I get more time on this fucking wild ass ride of being human. I get more time to hug that boy. I get more time to look at beautiful, gorgeous women like you and soak up all your fucking incredible energy. Like, anti-aging is is this one of the sadder things I can think of, right? So you're absolutely right, Abby. You look at that woman and you go, girl, I was there. Fucking live that shit. Do it.
Live it.
Have your fun. It's because then if you do it, I'm still experiencing it, right? We're all sharing this. So then you're having that, I'm having this. It all kind of balances out and we're all getting to have this. So I love that idea of just being like, yes, do you, because I got to. And I hope you get to have this in return too, right? Like that feels.
Yeah. Saying just do.
Yeah.
We were looking at a blind. My son and I were looking at this blind. I was like, "Well, do you think I should take it off and put another one?" I said, "But I like it this way." He was like, "Mom, just do you."
Yeah.
It's like, you're right. Just do. I don't want that blind. Take it down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's been another thing is
you?
shedding the external validation, the need for external validation. I went and picked out a new pair of glasses frames and by myself. And I'm there. I'm like, I really should have brought Zach or what, I can't pick these out on my own. And I was like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Which ones do I like? Which ones do I like? Not what I think Zach will like or what he says will be. Which ones do I like? And if it takes me 2 hours to figure that out, then it takes me 2 hours. And that's okay. That's part of even little things like that. It's part of the process of just owning my own truth. And yes, a baby step. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you talk about shifting from the head to the body, right? I feel like that is the work. Like that was a message I got in my last session with Paula, was like, your work, your purpose here is to be in that body and to be in your neutral state of emotion, because that means you're not absorbing everybody's shit. Because I have like no gates. I have two tiny little gates and only one little block. It's like I'm very open, and so I feel very malleable. And she was like, just be in your neutral state. That's how you are doing your work here. And I loved that. And she said, and then listen to your body cues. And then so that was on Monday. And then yesterday I'm working with these 2 other women, and we're creating these workshops, and we're trying to kind of really sink in, right? So that what we offer is what we feel, right? We want to share what we feel with those who are participating. And we were trying to figure out this one thing. And I said, can we all just try to feel it rather than think it? And so the woman who was kind of outlining things on the whiteboard went up and rewrote an interpretation of what we had been thinking about. And seriously, you could feel the ripple go around the room. And all 3 of us were like, did you just get chills? And we're like, yes. And we're like, holy shit. Okay, that's the one, right? Because the body was like, that's it. You got it. Like, you're there. You're doing it.
The body knows. The body knows.
Okay, so we're at the hour, Katie, and in our kind of wrap up period here, I want to ask you our favorite question that we've generated so far. So this is called the Modern Sacred Women's Work Podcast. Abby's name, I was like, amazing. Yes, that feels like so good, right? So when we say women's work, what does that mean to you? Can you talk to us? I mean, I feel like we've been talking about that this whole time, but just specifically that, especially when it comes to like we talked about balancing the masculine and feminine, right? Because what we have found is that we feel this knee-jerk need to constantly be like, this is not about gender. This is not about typical gender roles. It's about energy. But just for you, when you hear us say women's work, what does it mean to you? And how do you feel that presents in your life? And what is the importance of it?
When I first heard the statement "women's work," I got a negative reaction to it. Because I thought, oh, there's something wrong with us, and we got to work it. That was my first reaction. So I'm not really keen on the term "women's work." And yet, living into your feminine, it takes presence and conscious choice, which can be work.
Yeah.
To some people. I mean, you're repatterning your brain. It's physiological.
Right.
I mean, physiological component to all this consciousness work. And and so for me, it's really working on codependency, because everybody's codependent. Understanding what that means in my life, and being able to individuate from that. It's what are the things that trip me up? How much do I love being in my body? And how am I going to start using my body as my guiding force? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is the most important communication tool we have, our physical body. But how many of us listen?
Right. Yeah.
How many of us listen to it? So doing a body lean test or kinesiology, just to get into the
Yeah.
habit, I'm having a hard time making this decision, so I'm just going to do some kinesiology and see what my body says.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Get in the habit of training myself to listen to my body. And then
That deeper
loving my
intelligence.
body, loving myself, see, curriculum,
Yeah.
trusting that I am a goddess here. I do have things to embrace in myself for my children, for the next generation of women.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
like holding those pussy circles with y'all. Y'all were all younger than me. And it was just like so invigorating to think, oh my God, they're getting in touch with who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was like light shining,
Mhm.
getting out of the programming, the Maya,
Yes.
the illusion
Yes.
that you're something, you got to fix something.
Yeah. Yes.
You got to be this in this system because you don't. You have a choice. You can be the hero of your journey or the victim. You can act in love or you can act in fear. And I really believe we're all here to learn how to open our hearts and live in love. I think that's the
Yeah.
bottom line of being
Yeah. I agree.
It's about what we do, living. It's not about, who we hang out with or the programs or where we travel to. It's about how you love it.
Yeah. And how are you embodying that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And having these experiences, and which is all really important because I've done that. I mean, it's important, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it deepens love, going to different cultures, seeing different things. Does it deepen our ability to love someone other than us and people who live differently? And I just remember in that book club, you would say so much like, you would ask, well, what does my pussy want with this conversation, with decision, which is really asking, what does my body want? And connecting to that pleasure center, which was something I had just never, ever thought of until that book club. So when I hear you talking about like the wisdom of the body, that was a huge thing that came out of the book club for me, was that my body knows, and particularly like my womb space, my pleasure center will tell me what feels good and what doesn't. If I can learn to like tune into that energy, there's something just so outside of anything I'd ever known, that's a wisdom that lives there for us to access. As women in particular, because we have so much pleasure, sensory nerves down there. Yeah.
Yeah. 8,000 nerves in the clitoris.
Which
Yeah.
does make it a lot easier to come into the body when you're being welcomed with pleasure and sweetness and softness. So maybe that is kind of an essence of the like women's work, kind of quote unquote, right? It's like I think for us, we were trying to take that back because that old kind of
It's supposed to be
idea of women's
provocative.
work being the domestic, right? Like,
Yeah, and it, we think everything has to be so hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I had Spotify on this morning and a new song came on the playlist. I was like, oh my God, I could not sit still. I had to dance.
Amazing.
And then I went to the artist and I was like, oh my God, I'm downloading her because these songs are amazing. So it can be simple things, but do what feels good and do what's easy. Sometimes you
Yeah.
do what's hard, but it's like, choose the easy path. That's
Yeah.
the point.
if you have a choice, why not, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you don't have to make it hard.
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can make it hard if you want.
Turns out we can make everything really hard. But but that I think is the thinking, right? That's the thinking. If I'm thinking about it,
We have to make it work. We got to
Right.
push.
Right.
We have to expand, not push.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Expand,
Yeah.
feel, be, don't do. Fucking A,
embody.
Katie. I love you. You are so
You're
inspiring. Your energy, it just picks me right up. So thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you so much for bringing us together, for holding that space, for
Absolutely.
kind of holding both the spaces, both the energies, for being brave, for inviting us into this phase of human evolution, of work, of our own process, of our own work. It just feels like an incredible gift we're all giving each other. You know, someone in my life says this to me a lot. She says, we're all just walking each other home. I know that's not her statement. It's a far bigger statement, but I love that, right? It's just like, oh, those, like Dolores Cannon says, those little other bright lights, you know, our light shines much brighter when we combine with other lights. And it just feels that way. I'm just like, I met you guys and I was like, other lights. Yay.
Yeah.
I love that.
So good.
Yes.
More
sparkle. And it's brighter to bring others, right? The brighter we're shining, others are going to be like, oh, there's the light. I'm going to that. So
It's magnetic.
Yeah.
it's magnetic. Feels awesome.
And it feels good.
Yes. It
Great
feels
to
good. Thank you so much for being here with us and for the work that you do. You are truly a goddess.
Yes.
For the work you're doing as well. It's all rippling.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We're just loving it. It feels powerful
It is.
just to be.
Yeah.
It is.
Love it.
We can change the collective.
Yeah.
And if we don't, that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for ourselves.
We don't have to really worry about that. It's like, what's resonant here? What feels good here? Finding that space
Yep.
makes an impact.
Perfect. On that note, we will say goodbye. Thank you, Katie Smith. You are a goddess. Love to you both and to all our listeners, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Modern Sacred Women's Work podcast. We're so glad you came.
If you'd like to learn more about Modern Sacred, our offerings, book clubs, and women's events, you can go to modernsacred.com or follow us on Substack.
We were so happy you were here with us.
I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening.